in Matthew chapter 4, verse 8, when Satan took Jesus, Yahushua, to the mountain, took him high up to the mountain and told him, and showed him all the kingdoms of the world, and told him, if you bow down to me, I will give you all of this. Of course, who had rejected it. But there's the people who did not reject that. And those are the Revelation 3-9ers. People who run everything sit on top. They own all the airways. They own everything. They own the media. They own all the global platforms. So when you decide to ask, go on to one of these platforms with a question, a controversial question, they're going to program these AIs, Google search engines, all the major search engines to lie. So you have to actually know the truth. So you have to ask the questions, but you also need to know the truth. So the truth would be rebuttaling AI with a scripture or literature that's factual. And once you do that, it will actually spit the truth. Usually it'll go in depth with the truth. You know what I mean? It'll give you more information than what you're asking for. But unless you know the truth, don't even play around with it if you're going to be asking controversial questions. Okay? When the Revelation 3-9ers made a deal with Satan, part of that deal was giving them occultic knowledge. That's really what Freemasonry is. Basically, the same knowledge that they were using in Egypt is what Freemasonry is. Once you get to a higher level, you understand that. So the way they built the pyramids, that was occultic knowledge. They were in touch with the fallen angels, and you see it all on the holographs on the wall. They're drawing these beings and these spacecrafts and stuff. So that's how they were able to build the pyramids, right? They were given forbidden knowledge, and that's the same thing that Satan basically has done to these people. They gave them a deal and said, we're going to give you control of the world, power, and that's why they sit on top. They sit on top of the pyramid system. If you look at your backyard dollar, you see what this nation is under. If you look at the pyramid and you see the very top is an eye, what do you think that is? That's Satan. And so the people, each level is a different level of people. So like when you see the Democrats, Republicans, and all this fighting back and forth, that's just to give you illusion of choice. It doesn't matter who you vote for at the top of the pyramid, you're still voting for Satan. This is his kingdom. All these higher ups and elites, they're all part of this beast system. So they're just trying to give you an illusion of choice so you don't go crazy and fight them. But really, it's all of us really versus them. But as long as you keep thinking that you have a choice and they're really going to all of a sudden just change and things are going to get better, you are completely delusional. If they own AI, they own all the search engines, clearly that's why they program everything to fit a specific narrative that they've been trying to push onto everybody, and it's nothing but a lie. Okay, so just remember, when you go on these search engines, asking questions, if you don't know anything about controversial topics, especially specifically a narrative that's being pushed, right, then just know you're not going to get the truth.